Hey man, how are you? A long time. Yeah man, I'm good, I'm good. How are you? How is life treating you? Or probably what are you up to? Are you still there? DJ F5665. I should just call you DJ. How is that? Add a little more meat in this side. And shade it. So always keep in mind whenever you're shading muscles, it's also a good idea to understand a little bit of the structure, the direction of light. Sorry, understand the direction of light, and also soft shades. First, you start with soft, very soft shadows or soft shading, and also after you've drawn the muscles or the outline of everything, keep in mind that you shade behind the lines of the muscles. For example, here you see these veins. There's a vein here, right? We're gonna shade underneath the veins like so. Alright, this would help define what we are trying to achieve. Before we add any values or any context to what we want to achieve, right? And one more key component is you need to have patience. You gotta have patience, because it goes a long way into these things. So I'm adding a little bit of outline here to define what I just did. All right. And after that, I'm gonna add in a little bit values here to help define all of the the context which I just added. Right. So underneath his chest here is gonna be very dark because of lights cannot go through. You realize that this arm is over this part of the body. So we're gonna add in a lot more shadows. I think we're gonna do 3 to 4 phases of shading. So this is gonna be the first one. Make this area as dark as we could possibly make it, or as dark as our pencil can take us. Right? We'll leave this part like this for now, and we're gonna come back when we get to phase 2, after we've set the tone for the entire drawing, or should I say image. Now always remember, when you're adding the values, you take, like for example, you take your time to add it, and right, you don't shade it one direction, you have to shade multiple directions. Right. So you shade this direction, you probably would turn your book and add in another direction of shading. This way you have it smoothing itself, and you wouldn't need to use your fingers or use a cotton bud to smoothen it. You know, you try to do everything whilst you go, right? You don't need to come back and use your hand or another tissue paper to do it. There are some instances that people might want to go to the extent to make it happen in that sense. But what I've discovered is when you're shading multiple directions, all right? But this way, you smoothing out all the lines that you missed when you were shading the first tone, right? So you could go vertical, diagonal, right? Go along and across, and you put in these values. And you see that this area feels much more better. Remember to hold your pencil very freely, mostly a third of it or past the third of the pencil. This way when you're applying it, doesn't look like you're forcing it. We'll move, you can hold this area of your pencil when you're adding the nuances of the details, right? But that is not at this phase here. That would be probably on the phase 4, right? So I'm just cutting in like this. I'm just taking my time. I'm shading this part because this areas will be very dark. I'll go in and I'll make the outline a little bit more obvious. Then I'll shade it. It takes patience when you're trying to do something like that. Patience is the key. You just trust the process. And you keep shading. Turn your book, add a little more values to it. You blend out the direction. give it a different direction as well. Something that you got to keep in mind is when you lift your pencil and you're shading, try not to take off your pencil, right? Finish the area you're working on before you lift your pencil. Don't start it and leave it. Now we're gonna work on the thigh, and with the thigh, since he has crouched himself, we're gonna shade the entire thigh. I feel like the thigh here made it a little too small. I'm gonna extend it a little bit out. Yeah. Like that. Yeah, it looks a little better that way. Then I'm gonna shade all this area. And like always, as always, hey Momonga, how you doing? It's been a long time. As always, I'll turn off my sketch part and change the direction. How are you, Mamonga? Hey man, it's very good to hear from you. It's good, huh? Have you been drawing lately? Oh, that's great. What have you worked on recently? Oh, anime. Yeah. I wanna do an anime sketch tomorrow. I wanna sketch an anime tomorrow. What did you work on? Or who did you work on, if I should say that? Good day. Are you signing off? Or did you draw good day? Since you draw is so cool. Oh, thanks, man. I wish I can see your drawing somehow. So we're adding values to the chest here. This area is going to be much more darker compared to the arms, right? So we first add the first tone here. And after, yes, you guessed it, we're going to turn it and add some values to it. Make sure that when you start to shade them, you don't change the direction or lift your pen, so you set the whole tone, making it blend smoothly. And after I come back in to add details here, add details. Add details here. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. If you have to describe your drawing from level 1 to 10, which level do you think your art is? Like your skill set of executing an artwork. Oh, I'm a little tired at the moment, but I'm fine. And how are you? Yeah. Mostly when I'm on live, I forget that I'm on live, and I try to not I try I forget to explain what I'm doing. So the shoulders, when you want to do the shoulders, it's important to you follow the contours. Oh, thank you so much. You you follow the contours of what you're doing. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I wish YouTube has a way to appreciate its viewers. I think there should be something like that. I have to look into it. Alright, so this area, we're gonna add more depth here. So now we'll be working on face phase 2, right? Adding a little more detail here. Yay. Alright, so we added depth here and the veins as well, right? We go, we shade underneath the line, right? To make the veins a lot more visible. So I'm doing the same thing here as well. Alright. So now you can feel the veins. You can feel the veins, and also the arm is looking much more 3D here. Just damn, man, your strokes are so precious. Hey, I appreciate the comment, bro. So adding a little more values for the veins to help define the veins in this part and this part as well. Clean it up some more. All right. Now it comes to the thigh, the definition of the thigh here. You follow the contours, right? You draw circles, not circles, like arcs. Right, so you see for the details too, yes, shading and lightning takes a lot of time. Yeah, man, the shading takes a lot of time. Like trying to define the light. It takes a long time to make it look good. If you don't want it to look good, it won't take a lot of time, you know. But then why do you invest that time to do it if you don't want to do it well, you know? So you just take the time, you set the time aside and try to execute. So if you look at the thigh, define in the muscles. Defining the muscles here. Alright. Remember, you go one direction, you might flip your book and go also a similar or the same direction, right? To help blend it out properly. Okay, so we are like we finished level 2. We're gonna go 4 levels. So this is, you're done with level 2. Right, so this is level 2. Now I'm gonna work a little bit more on this side so we can have something to talk about, right? So I'm gonna first I'm gonna set the tone. I'm gonna just shade the whole area the same direction within the outline of what I'm working with. Shade everything, right? Shade everything the same way. It doesn't matter, just shade everything the same way. Or you understand why. Right. Shade everything the same way. And turn your book. You go a different direction. Now if you can see, you realize that the shading and the strokes feels much more smoother, right? And make sure when you're shading you don't go back, because it's gonna, you see here I went back and forth to clean up the shade, so it caused these things. I would have to single out and fix that, right? So make sure that wherever you are, you just take your time, shade, and you just come down, right? You have that right. So after we've had this, now we're gonna start adding in our details, right? So here is biceps. We're gonna go in the biceps. So you have this part down. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna add the values to it. So we're gonna go from this side and add it. You're gonna make it bulk. Make it define, well defined. When you're adding in the values, the shadow values, right? And please, when you're shading, don't forget to add the contour lines, or you follow the contour lines of the shape. Like, I always repeat that. I can't stress that enough. It's very, very, very important, right? You need to pay a lot more attention on the contour lines, on the shape, on the shape you're shading. You add in the contour lines to help to prevent the shape from becoming flat, right? And you don't want your shading to appear flat. You want it to appear as 3D as possible, right? You want it to be like it's this creature planted in the pages of your book, right? And the only way that you could achieve that is when you is when you follow the contours. I'm sorry that I froze there for a second. I was a little bit too invested in the in the drawing, right? Now I want to explain something. You see the shading of this area and the shading of this area. I feel like this area is a little much more smoother compared to this one. Yes, this is because I shaded here before adding the values, and this I added the values before I shaded, right? So that's the difference. There's nothing wrong with any of them. It depends on you, what kind of feeling you want to get. However, I would always choose this over this form, right? Always try to set the values in before you then try to shade. And if you pay attention to my strokes, you realize that it's going this way, right? I'm following the strokes because the muscles here is this shape. So you'd have to follow the contours, right? You would follow the contours of that. And here's a quick tip. Whenever you shade and to prevent your work from being dirty, you use your pinky and you pivot. So you pivot, then you shade. So the inner thigh, you'd have to make it. You have to go all in. Remember the strokes, the direction of the strokes. Follow the outline. That's all you need. You gotta remember to always keep your pencil sharp. Sharp pencils always produce clean drawings or sharp drawings. And dull pencils, you guessed it, would always produce dull drawings. So keep that in mind. See, like here, all that I'm trying to do is shade in between the lines. I feel like that should be the title of this stream, shade in between the lines. That's basically what gets the job done. And these areas, these little details, you go in and you redefine them, and that is stage 3, right? So after we have everything down, this area, right, we're gonna go in and add in a couple more details here and there. Right, just add more values to help define that area. So drawing the feathers, I'm going to start off of applying the values as always. Alright, apply the values first. Then you add these little curves in to give a feeling of the wings. Then you give it some context, some values. I like to shade it like this. Sometimes you could try to shade them like this. It also works. Actually, this is the right way to shade it because of the direction of the feathers, right? Like this, because you have these feathers coming in this way, right? And it's like this. This one comes like this. This one like this. Right, adding these to the and this it's not really anything special that it goes into these kind of art. It's just a lot of patience and one stroke at a time. You know, you do it one stroke at a time to help define the shape of what you're doing. And when you think about it, you need to understand a little bit more of lightning, how lightning works, you know, so that when you're shading, you would know where to apply the most darkest, where the darkest part of your shade is gonna be, or where the lightest part of your shade, or the mid-tones, right? These things, these are techniques you can just take an hour or two, or just a day, you know, depending on how fast you absorb information, that you can just understand with these things. And after you understand these, like how light works and where the mid-tones is going to be, and how you apply that, and how you apply that highlights, you would realize that it won't be much of a challenge when you are shading, because you understand and know how to apply the shadows and where is the most darkest areas in whatever that you're trying to create, you know. That doesn't take a long time it doesn't take a long time for you to be able to develop that. However, what you would need a lot of experience and time to work with is the proportion, right? The proportion of your work. That's what takes some time for you to be able to build that, for you to understand that Okay, um, this head needs this sort of eye, or probably this chest should be a bit bigger than this one, or this chest should be equal, or this arm should have this sort of posture. That takes some time before you could be able to develop that. But with in regardless of how long it's gonna take, it's not very important. It's always advisable that you take one thing at a time and you work with it. Right? My pencil is a bit sharp. My pencil is dull. I need to sharpen it up. And what I'm just doing right here is I'm just adding in the details of the feathers, right? Just spiky strokes, because the feathers won't be a fine line. It's just gonna have these spikes, right? And to me, it makes it much more natural and believable. These details make it right. So you have that down, right? And like I was saying, when you are drawing proportion, proportion might take you some time before you get what works and what doesn't work. It's pretty much like with proportion, you can basically do whatever you want. You can give the big arms, big eyes, big lips. You can do whatever you want. But to have the knowledge or the understanding of what works with what, that takes time. You know, that takes some time. So not to give you any to discourage you. However, there's only two things that I would advise you to keep in mind. One, that's gonna be proportion, right? Try as much as possible to get good knowledge of proportion and get a couple of knowledge and get knowledge on how light works and how to shade, right? With lights, how light works, you can get that knowledge. That would be fast. That wouldn't take you a lot of time. But with the proportion, that might take you um, some time before you get it. You feel me? I'm just adding in soft strokes to make these to help define the shapes, right? so we're gonna stop here, and we will continue with the face. Continue with the face the next time when we stream, right? But with the face, it's pretty straightforward. It's just strokes in one direction. Did I say one direction? Yes, I did. Alright, you just add in the direction. Add in the direction. For example, this one. The ones beneath the peak is gonna go down. Alright, it's gonna go down and a lot more darker. Alright, so that's basically what the spot is gonna be. But the interesting thing is there's gonna be this part of the head is overexposed. So it's overexposed, so we wouldn't have a lot of hair. Is it no feathers here, right? Because the light is slapping this area, right? So we wouldn't have too much. Right, we'll detail this one out in the next stream, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. All right, have a nice day.